Hey everybody, it's April Fool's Day. So I want to follow up with this CNN article, front page news. Everybody knows that Biden's planning to release up to 180 barrels of oil total, so like 1 million a day. And we all knew, most of us people who are aware, know where this is headed and what this means and the trap that we're in. But just for the dum-dums, I'm going to read this straight from the top, because this is the situation that we're in. The lead of this article is, "The world is stuck between gas prices and climate change." Can't get much more straightforward than that. So start from the top. Quote, "The West needs more oil now. The world needs to get off oil and gas ASAP. These competing urgent realities are crashing into each other." Bullet points. Climate. The world is approaching a more catastrophic phase of climate change and needs to move quickly to reduce carbon emissions. Sanctions. Next bullet point, punishing Russia will raise prices in the West, particularly gas prices. Next bullet point, economy. High gas prices could help drive the U.S. into recession and turn the outcome of the midterm elections in November. Indeed, the result is an epic quandary of oil addiction that runs the world economy. Biden announced a new plan Thursday. He said he would address all of the above by increasing availability in oil in the short term, improving fuel economy in vehicles, and securing access to components used in batteries for electric vehicles, while working to get off oil in the future. In bold, more now, less later. Quote, "Look, the bottom line is this," Biden said at the White House, quote, "Between ramping up our production in the short term and driving down demand in the long term, we can free ourselves from our dependence on imported oil across the world," end quote. His plan. Biden's plan to bring down gas prices. He's authorizing 1 million barrels a day to be released from the Strategic Nations Reserve. Continuing, skipping ahead, quote, will these moves work to lower prices? He doesn't even really know. And the way the worldwide oil market works is largely dependent on how much oil producers others add or don't add. At most, we're looking at like a decrease of 10 cents to 35 cents a gallon. Continuing, bold, quote, "Stuck between ambition and reality." CNN's senior climate editor told me Biden is stuck between progressive ambition to take meaningful climate action and the reality that the U.S. is still extremely dependent on fossil fuels and people want cheap gas. But that doesn't mean that there's progress. Wind and solar generated record amount of world's power in 2021, although they don't include the number, which is like 8%. Yay. Even less than that, actually. And how do you think they built all that solar and power equipment? There you go. Biden said he would invoke the Defense Production Act to spur domestic production of critical minerals needed to manufacture batteries for electric vehicles and long-term energy storage. In the meantime, the climate crisis is taking its toll. By the way, our country is not built for electric vehicles. Just letting you know. Bold, quote, "Delay means death." Just days into Russia's invasion, the United Nations warned that alarming new report that the world is running out of ways to adapt to the climate crisis. Quote, "The facts are undeniable. The abdication of leadership is criminal." The UN Secretary General said, "The world's biggest polluters are guilty of arson of our only home." We've heard this before. He also said that the current industry of the world is too reliant on fossil fuels, calling them a dead end. Okay, proof of the climate crisis. Continuing, Fritz pointed out that reservoirs in the Colorado River are drying up, threatening the water supply for more than 40 million people. We're already seeing the beginnings of how this will play out in the cities and towns across the West. Jurisdictions that have water are going to start cutting off people. Now, this is the part where it gets, side note,
really dystopian.
Okay, this is when you start like Children of Men, your little house outside. Okay, this is and going into town when you need to. Hear me out. Corporations are buying up land with water rights so they can profit in the years to come. That's what we got coming to a city near you. Profitable water for corporations. Because remember, we're on the economic model of capitalism. Everything is commodified, including carbon credits. Forecasters predicted that the West extreme drought could push east this spring, and we're seeing that play out now. It's extreme fire risk in central Texas. More than 700 fires scorched around 164,000 acres in Texas in March. Even a few degrees of warm can make a big difference, one expert told the CNN's climate team. Continuing, quote, unfreezing Antarctica. Fritz also pointed out this report is a weakest shift in Antarctica, which has been less affected by climate change crisis at Antarctica. Sea ice in the South Poles have been relatively stable, but fell to a new record low. And then this month, we shot up 70 degrees more than normal, and a stable ice shelf disintegrated. Just like that, overnight, things can just, you know what I'm saying? Can we do that one more time? Okay. The daily reality for people. Ending here with this paragraph. Antarctica is far, far away. Many Americans are more focused about the cost of getting to work. Why is California gas so expensive? Oil markets are complicated. So he sought to blame Putin and said it's worth the price. Blame someone else in another country that we made up, borders that it's a socially constructed concept. All right? We're in the 21st century. Why the fuck are we still talking like we're in the 18th century? Seriously, Dark Ages 2.0. So the emphasis here of this article is we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you know where this goes. This is where I'm leading to runaway, because we're out of time, we're fossil fuel dependent, too many tipping points have been triggered, leadership is failing, and misinformation for a long time. All the ingredients necessary for ecological runaway and species die-off is present, and you'd be a goddamn fool not to see that. Thanks, boomers, for ruining our world. You had a little bit to do with it. But civilization is a heat engine regardless, so live your best life and get a move on soon. I'll talk to you guys tonight. Ciao.